Welcome back. Now, we promised you a special interview with a legendary person who's given so much to the beautifully South African game as a player, as a coach, as a club owner, also on the international stage. That, of course, is the Honorable Dr. Jomo Sono. Dr. Sono, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. And in the interest of time, let's get straight to the first question. Your love for the game, where did it begin?
I think the love for the game began in my mother's womb.
That early?
Yeah, that early, you know, because I've been in football ever since, from the age of 8, if I may remember. And the love of football, to be honest, also started with my father, because my father used to play for Pirates. And then my uncle also played for Pirates. I played for Pirates. So it's something which has been in the family all these years. It's been football and football and football.
Now, it's interesting that you mentioned your family members, past family members in Orlando Pirates, whom, of course, you also represented and are very much renowned as a star player for the club in your days. When you did start playing professionally, was it always going to be Pirates? Or maybe I should ask you differently. Why Pirates for you?
No, I didn't choose Pirates. I didn't choose Pirates. I was selling, you know, Orlando Stadium, and Pirates was playing. I was very young. And they were short. Under 16 of Pirates were short of players. And they asked me to come in and play because they were short. And I said, okay, I'll help you. If you buy a tray for my apples, then I'll play. And I played. And it was unbelievable. It was packed at the stadium. If I recall, they were playing Roca Swallows. And we were playing against Orlando Happy Stars, very popular team in those years. And I came on and I scored 2 goals. And because there was a big crowd, and everybody started knowing that the boy who scored 2 goals is Skara's son. And Skara was very popular. He was the captain of Pirates.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it all started from you selling
apples, yeah.
Apples, and saying, if you buy my apples, I'll...
At the stadium, yeah.
Now, obviously, you went
I was a bargainer.
Yeah, clearly. From a young stage, you're a businessman, man. And obviously, you went from playing, I don't even know if I can call that humble beginnings, but let's call it that, to playing with great players. And by great players, I'm talking the greatest in the world. Pele comes to mind. What then, if I may ask you, is the difference between what we would deem a good player like Mzansi locally and a great player on that stage globally?
You know, to be honest, I was very, very lucky, and thanks to God, that I managed to go overseas at a tender age. I mean, I went to Portugal, I was 17, to go and play for Sporting Lisboa. And they saw me playing in Portugal. And at the later stage, when they started the new league in America, they came and they took me from South Africa because they were looking for players from each and every country in the world. Yeah. And I was lucky that I was chosen as one of the players to go there. It could have been anybody, you know. And I always say to my players that the bridge of a footballer, of footballers, is too narrow. You know, there's 6 million who are trying to cross that bridge, and not all of us will be able to cross the bridge. There are those who are lucky, there are those who work hard, and there are those who are more skillful than anybody, but they can't go through that bridge because they say it's very small. And fortunately, I passed my trials in New York because I always believed in myself, arrogant and, you know, and cocky. And I worked hard, to be honest. I was a workaholic. I used to train a lot, you know. I used to run from Soweto to town and back because that was the only thing that I felt it can take me out from the ghetto. Yeah. Because we were from a very poor family.
Yes. So it wasn't just the talents, it was also the hard work.
Hard work.
That you put in behind the scenes as well.
It was hard work. You can have talent. Yeah, there's a lot of them here in this country who've got talent, but they end up nowhere. We can't mention names.
Yes.
With all the talent they have, they're not going anywhere. But I always preach hard work, hard work, hard work, and hard work as a sports person.
Now, when you start playing with some of the best players in the world, I'm talking when your time in New York or even in Portugal, what then do you learn from those players? Is that where you start to see good hard work also goes even with the best in the world, your players in the world? Does hard work also play a huge part in where they got to in their journey?
Yeah. Because I had an opportunity. I was a very inquisitive boy, you know. So I would sit with them and ask them, how did you get there? What can I do to get there? And I discovered with them was hard work and hard work and hard work. Some of them lived for football.
Yes.
Their life was football. The whole day was football. I don't know at night because I don't know what they were doing at night, but I can't, but it was football, football, and football. I remember my first pre-season training in Portugal. At night when I got to my apartment, I was checking the flights coming back home, because just they dropped us. We went in a bus. It was nice. My first pre-season training.
Yes.
And we don't have pre-season training here.
Yes.
So they dropped us maybe like, they would drop us in Soweto. Yeah. And we have to go to Midrand. Yeah, Baba.
How?
Jogging. Stretch, warm up.
And then,
and what is worse is that, masese halfway, sizohlangana nomuntu lapha aloka stretch.
Yeah.
Kanti marathon run. Funa sibambe pace yalo.
And he's a marathon runner.
When I got to the hotel, I said,
oh, that's when you're checking the flights going back home now.
I'll make it tomorrow. I thought even tomorrow the same.
Yeah.
But actually, I got used to it. And I loved it.
Yeah.
And since then, I've been working hard.
Now, clearly, there were lots of lessons learned in your time, even going abroad, from a footballing point of view and a business point of view as well. You came back as a player who now wanted to own his own club and be a club owner. Where does that idea come from?
It started when I was on a plane coming back home from New York. And next to me, I was seated to one of the Colonel Sanders's people. And we just chatting about South Africa, politics, racism, and so forth. And we ended up discussing our business. And he told me that, no, they're looking to open a franchise in the Black Townships. And I said, I would be interested, because I think I'm black enough.
Yeah.
So we had a chat, and I ended up opening the first KFC in Soweto. And I started studying about how to own a football club. Because in all honesty, the idea was to own Pirates.
Oh.
That's where it started from. And the supporters wanted me to own Pirates. But now the problem was that there was me, Banda, Mashawa. All three wanted to own Pirates. So we were divided. So in the end, I had a chat with the late 60 Mali. I said that because we as players, we can't own Pirates, because during that time, Pirates was a mess. Pirates was a mess during that time. How we survived playing for Pirates, I don't know. Pirates was really a mess.
Yeah.
And those who are still alive will tell you that every year there were elections at Pirates, and there were, as you know, there were fightings. I can give you one example of the fighting for Pirates was when they stepped China.
Yes, yes.
So every year it was these problems at Pirates. And we as players, sometimes we were compromised because you didn't know which group to join at Pirates, so we had to look for the strongest group and join.
Yes.
You know, so I decided that no, let me have my own thing. Let me look for a club. And as I was looking for a club, I was lucky because there was a gentleman I was always talking to, Rex Evans. And he said, you know, he wants to get out of football because he can see politically things are changing.
Yes.
And then we sat down, we spoke. I managed to raise 50,000 and I bought Highlands Park.
Yeah, back in the day.
Yeah.
You then obviously relocated to today to be Jomo Cosmos. Came through and scouted players. Now, you're famous over the years. We're talking a long time now. For firstly, finding some of the best players. Then the story changed as the years went on in that we were allowed back onto the international stage, and you were also very good at finding players from abroad. I think Anthony Laffour came to this country through you. That's one of the many players that's come through you. But also locally, some may forget, many players came through you as well, through Cosmos. When you think the 96 AFCON winning squad, many were former Cosmos players. Talk to us about your scouting of players and putting them through the processes to a point where many of them, Bapi Khomani, get to the national or the international stage. There's so many players I can talk about that came through you first, and from you became professionals and ended up as internationals. What do you look for? What makes a special player?
I think, to be honest, I will give credit to God as well, again, that He gave me the talent as a player. He gave me a talent as a scout. It's not easy to scout because we have as coaches, we are different. There's a coach that likes a ping ball, you know, long ball, hit, boom, boom, you know. There's coaches who like skillful players on the ball. There's coaches who like skillful plus speed.
Yes.
Me, I look at two. I look at speed and skill, you know, because without speed, even if you have skill, you'll struggle because,
yes,
you know, football is all about speed and aggression and so forth. And when it comes to defenders, I look for hard defenders.
Yeah. Joseph Life, for example.
That's what we were famous for.
Yeah.
We used to hammer them, you know. We used to hit them very hard.
Look, by the way, just to let you know.
You know why? Because South African players, if you touch him, he's gone. He doesn't play. He will run all over the pitch. Uzosuka ku position yakhe. Manje mawuphethe bo Rabutla laba abolinda Buthelezi besibuya phela. Kunabo Majuba Magwaza, kunabo like Mlifi. And they were huge. They were big boys.
Yeah.
So
just to let you know, last week I had a conversation with Penny McCarthy. I asked him, of all the players he's played, because now this guy's played also throughout the world, throughout Europe and so on, name some of your toughest opponents that you played against. Andrew Rabutla came up.
Yeah, it was hard.
He said, yeah.
It was.
Even the training.
He was always late. With the tech, which was always late.
Yeah.
And no Linda Buthelezi.
Yeah, bro.
You know.
Well, he also broke Beckham. I think Beckham is a friendly.
Is he what he's famous for? I don't know. I don't know. That's yours. That's yours. I remember one game we were playing Kaizer Chiefs at Ellispark, at the Rand Stadium. Beba Peterson is Kukanji, that's the Ivory Coast. Les Kukla went for a header with Urabutla Emoyen, and then they collided. Sage. Yeah, something like that. And Watemabawa Magasuguma watugu Rabutla. Manje Urabutla beganga nanhliziyo. Bengana nix la kuye uboya nje kuphela uhlelele nje. Nanhliziyo la muntu. uza ebenchini meshi on walk straight uza ke uthi Ibrahim uthi handrwaka awu manje ungakhala umuntu akuthukile buyele grounding wathi umuntu okela mraka mdimo ngathi ketsa out
sure
akero rakile
yeah
okay 5 minutes useju bekalele phansi naye waba stupid it was a 50-50 ball nokuthi asuke endleleni azange asuke wathola yena lo ayamthatha ingwenya
yeah
ayamthatha after match ngithi bona jona uruketsa batho ba Chiefs urobile motho uthi bona batse urundo wakile so he was one of the hardest players I've coached no Linda Buthelezi and there was a guy called Umajuba Magwaja nomunye bathu Samkelo Jam Samkelo Jam was 6'2". So bengadlulwe lapha kule yakho Sendala.
Yeah.
Aye. So I had a
nice mix of big strong players and quick fast players as well going forward.
That's what I like on players. That's what I like. I mean, if you look at Aaron Mkwena, you can see. You know, when we picked him up, we were 16. If you're like age, but he was 16. Back to 16.
Sure.
Yeah, but as I check my pep. Because I everything I show you.
So, why not?
Yeah. And it was funny because Mangumjala, the national team, Silala PE, people were fighting to say before the game with this speaker Bantuan. But what surprised me was that after the game, he was man of the match.
Yes.
And he was only 17 by then. And from there, he's, I mean, if you remember, there was also Tabang Mulife. He was also very, very good centre-half. So we're proud at Cosmos that we have done very well for this football and this country as well.
Yeah.
You know, in producing some of the players. We had a player, national team, Benny McCarthy. He was not playing by then, and I only saw him one game. He was playing for All Stars, you know, and I said to Safa, this young man, he was a boy called Benny McCarthy. And they brought him and he came. And the rest was history.
Certainly was. I spoke to him as well last week about the different generations of players. Obviously, it's your generation, and you've got your craze. There's this generation, the 90s, Abopeni, and so on, and the current generation. What are the differences? Because some say we can't compare different generations and so on, but clearly there's something that's very different between when you guys played to now.
I keep hearing people who you can't compare. But it's still 11 against 11.
It's still yebo.
Kunamapala wahlukanga awekho. Kunabo ref, kunabo. So
even the rules of the game are pretty much the same.
And Nebola, maybe you can talk of Ebola during ngesikhathi sabo Skara. Ebola belithunga ngesandla.
Yebo.
You can only talk about. But when it comes to football, it's the same thing.
Sure.
The only difference is that football has evolved. But not much, because it's still football. I mean, you talk about 4-4-2. It's still 4-4-2, Linda. I change.
Yeah.
4-3-3. I change next. It's going to be the same. Yeah. So I think it's an excuse to try and run away from the fact that South Africa, Ndala, I think it could have qualified for a World Cup easy. I mean, if you put the players on the table here, you will see. You talk about the may his soul rest in peace, Ace Treleng, Shaga, Ngobo, Stuart Lillis. Ngiyabona labafana bahleli la bebangakazali khuluma insomi ubona bonke bamangele ukuthi mhlambe bazotshela ukuthi eUbrazil mhlambe soyahlanya manje.
Sure.
There was a white family, white family. Their family was the Wegali. You must Google them. It was a white family called the Wegali family.
Yeah.
Yo, they could play football.
Okay.
And especially the last one who I discovered, the Pitor, Roy. Roy Wegali.
I've heard the name, yes.
I know, he was too good. He was too good. He was the most skillful white player I've ever seen in this country. And he went, I remember we took him to America. He ended up at Crystal Palace or QPR somewhere. The kid was the older brothers were the same. So there's no difference, it's still the same football. But I can tell you now that I can put my head on the block with it. If they had that team, Argentina. South Africa played Argentina. I don't know what year it was. It was the first multiracial South African team played at Rand Stadium. We played Argentina at the Rand Stadium because there was the IOC, Abu FIFA, they were all there to see what will happen if South Africa puts in a mixed team. Yeah. And it was a good team.
What was the score?
We beat them 5-1.
You beat them?
Yeah, 5-1.
5-1?
Yeah.
Argentina?
Yeah. Check my record. We beat them 5-1. And the guy sitting next to you scored 4. I want my engineers to compare the foot. The guy sitting next to you scored.
Sure.
And, my best friend, Ace, scored 1.
Your best friend scored 1?
Ace, yeah. Yeah, it was my best friend. he scored 1. He created 2 for me. Yeah, and I created his goal as well. Yeah, and then we went to play. They'd arranged three games. Abu Sam Ramsami, Abu Nox, and them because they wanted, and nothing happened. The only thing that was funny at dressing room was that some of us who played overseas, like me and Ace, Martin Cohen, there was a guy called Martin Cohen.
Larry Cohen played for you, his son. I remember Larry Cohen,
The father also played in America. Very good player. Abu Stuart Lilemva, bekunenye intaba nje ikhe yadlalela iKaizer Chiefs to Jimmy Jubet. Big center. We went to go and play a PE. A PE, I scored. Now, Sabashal 2-1 a PE. I scored the second goal. Masizala, a Joburg, it was Manje. What they did was only black. But Magbe, a black team, they want to see. So we came to Rand Stadium. These Argentinians said they are going to kill me. Because the Argentinian had said, Pumela.
Really?
Yeah, they were very upset with me because I scored 5 goals against them.
Yeah.
In 2 games.
Yeah.
So I still vow and say, I think that team would have
done well international.
I mean, the goalkeepers, if you look, there was a guy called Persin Banda. There was a guy called Ubanks Slodi. Those guys were incredible. I mean, Persin Banda begavimba ngezandla. Laba bavimba
ngama
and he
Mino yakhe vele.
Isandla zakhe.
Ilimele vele, I've seen it.
Yeah, nemino yakhe.
Ilimino yakhe,
ngathi bekuyibox ashayibonda.
Sure.
I'm short like. And also if you look at that team, bekuno uKaizer Mtaung, kuno Masterpieces Moripe. For me, it was. I think Masterpieces Moripe was better than Jomo and Ace put together.
Really?
Oh yeah, definitely. He was, the guy was unbelievable. I remember, you won't believe, promoter, I was, I think 15 and a half. And bang promoter, 15 and a half. bengiqeda ukukora eBinoni. Mabaqeda ukungipromoter, bangiregister bayenza yonke into, bathi Saturday badlala nePretoria, bebabiza uBantu Kellys. This I must share with you and your viewers. Ngangena ebhasini. Bebahamba ngama-coaster that time. Ahlala ebhasini ngiyintwana, nginomunye bathi ushavula umkhara. Bekubhenywa-ke ku-Paris. Hayi, bekubhenywa. Beshawa igada lapha.
Yeah.
Hayi, beshawa. Mina ngibuye esigele.
Sure.
Zazi.
15 phela.
Yeah. Hey! Ngivule iwindow. Ngihlale iwindow, ngivule iwindow. Ngisaba ukukhuluma ngomncane ngomsha. Manje ngezwe ebhasini kulokukhulunywa ngalo muntu lo masterpiece Simoripe. Sizomaka kanjani lo muntu? Manje bayaplana lama-Grootman yabo, Tiki Khoza, Mainline Khoza, Menoman, Leroke. Kukhulunywa ngomuntu eyi-1 ebhasini. Yeah, good. Manje nami, as an anxious young boy, I really want to see this guy because he's so scared. Uphetsini yabatshela ukuthi lokhu lahamba ibhasi ukuthi once alithola la ningezi kimi, ninga-retreat nize kimi ngoba angeke ngumbona.
Yeah.
Ngoba le-out beney'nyawo ezigobekile.
Yeah.
Sifike ePitori, singena dressing room, si-change. Change le dressing room Kellys. iPirate ingene egroundini. iKellys iqhamuka efencini. Bavula igate somewhere ngapha. Iqhamuke lapho bagqoke babiza ukuthi ama-romance. Bagqoke izinto ezi-blue and white, zesonto. But makufuna kuqala ukuthi isitotshwe imeshi kancane. Nangu umuntu uqhamuka uhamba ngehashi. This is true. Master business.
Yeah.
Angene egroundini.
Uye bakubele hashi.
Yeah, limhlophe. So ngibuze mina ngiyaseba ngithi uye lo. Bathi ya uye lo muntu. I love that guy since that day. I just fell in love now.
Just the entrance.
I tell you, it was unbelievable. Must have been about 40,000 people. You must see how they opened for him because during our time, bebahlala ngapha. So kufuneka nalaba bala.
Bashift
Track. Kufuneka bamvule. Bamvulela nice. No. Lengwenya yeza yafika yahlika la eyashi. Yaqoka irope yama-romance wayikhumula. Aqoka number 10 emva. Hayi baba. Hayi kwasuka amaphepha. Half time, iPirates bekungakhulunywa nix, bebalwa.
Half time.
Yeah, how to pick him up because to be honest, bebagood bonke phambili. Bebano omunye bathi uBantala Shikhu, uGeorge Mahobela. I don't forget these guys. They bebayigijimisa iPirates that day. Azange bangifaka.
Yeah.
But no, the games were heavy for me.
So you just watched from the sidelines?
Yeah, I just love the guy.
I have to ask you now, because you've also coached on the international stage as well. How far have we come as a footballing nation on the continent, internationally, as well as club football? When you look at also a coach like Rulani, who, for a young South African coach, has reinvented the game in his own way and is taking it far. And it seems like now he's going to take it even further. Just from a coaching point of view, Peter's done the same. How far have we come?
I think we've gone far, to be honest. Compared to where we come from. Yes, we're 96, 98, we were doing well. 2002, we're doing well. And then we had that slump.
Yes.
A very bad slump.
Yeah.
We slump and slump. But now, since we have managed to export our coaches, it's not only Pizzo, no Rolani, there's the boy Fadlu. He's also,
David as well, yes.
He's also doing well. So I think that generation, Emanj, it is good to see this generation going out of the country to go and coach outside the country, because in future, I can tell you now, it's them who will coach the national team. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Yes.
With their experience, it all depends in Dabazemali, you know. South Africa can they afford these guys?
Sure.
These guys, they talk millions. Bully saying a million. It's not going to be easy.
Well, Dr. Sono, I'd like to firstly say sadly we've run out of time, but thank you for your time to join us here on GameON. Thank you for your contribution to the game as a player, a coach, a club owner, and just a lover of the beautifully South African game. And, well, we are always grateful that you're still around and we still learn from you, Sebo.
Thank you very much. But uzibhize zonke mara usho ukuthi bus driver,
kid manager.
Thank you.
Okay.